Hello and good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to High End Rollers TV. And we are on episode number 15. And today I'm really excited to be speaking to Tim Page, who is the conversion educator at LeadPages. And he's going to be sharing with us exactly how to create your automated sales machine. So how are you doing today, Tim?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me on. How you doing?
You're welcome. And I'm loving all the comics that you have on your walls.
Yep, this is, as you can tell, a bit of an obsession that I have going on. It's all around the entire room. This is the space that gets me going for my for my marketing day.
Wow, just a tiny obsession there, isn't it?
Just a little bit. Yeah.
So let me share with our viewers exactly who you are and what it is that you do. So Tim spends his days helping business owners and entrepreneurs and marketers to utilize the billions of data from LeadPages so that they can increase their revenue, grow their lists, and further scale up their businesses. Like you've heard, his voice on the host of LeadPages podcast, Conversion Cast, and on stage at several live LeadPages events, and he's hosted over 550 webinars just in the past 12 months. Okay, so today I'm really excited because we're talking about how to generate an online sales machine. Now, the thing is, Tim, as entrepreneurs, as you know, there's so much to do, especially when you're just starting out as well. You're really excited. You've got this business that you want to share with the world. You want to get all of these clients and customers coming in. But then the thing is, you're speaking to your friends, your family, you're going to events, you're networking. However, that can get a bit tiring, can't it? So we want to set up a system in your business where you're generating leads on automation. So how can you help us with that?
Yeah, well, the thing is, we always have to keep in mind that a business that can only scale to a few friends and family members is not a business, and a business that a really scalable business is one that we have to have, automated systems in place that are going to be working for us consistently. So it starts with focusing on individual steps at one time. And so what I often recommend folks do, especially when they're getting started in their business, the first thing that I recommend you do is start to focus on growing your email list. That's really kind of step one for just about any business. And it can be argued that step one is creating content and finding an audience and doing this and that. But I really, truly believe that the first thing you should do is start to grow your list. And there are some really simple things that you can do to start growing your list really quickly. The first thing that I often recommend to people who are looking to grow their list is create a simple landing page that is designed to give away a one-page PDF list of a few tools or resources that you recommend. And it doesn't matter what kind of business that you're in, what your products are, what your services are, your niche, your industry. Every industry has tools or resources that people can use or access that can help them get a particular result. And so what you can do as a marketer is you can provide those resources in exchange for somebody joining your email list. And I'll give you an example. If we're going with the comic book theme, if I were a comic book writer or publisher or something, I could say something along the lines of, free report reveals the 5 most important comic books of all time. Hint, you've probably never read any of them. Enter your email address and we'll send you the list of books. And so anybody who's a comic book fan would likely join that email list because they want to know what those books were. Then, of course, they get on the email list and I can send them that guide. And now I have the ability to follow up with them and say, hey, hope you enjoyed those books. Did you pick them up? What did you think? If you like, whatever kind of comic book, you might also like a book I've recently written called blah, 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 blah. Here, check it out. And it allows you to get your target audience engaged by providing them something that they're already interested in and then transitioning them from that thing to your thing. That's a good way to start.
Absolutely. And I do actually love the free report thing because I find that you want your lead magnet or you want your opt-in, your freebie, whatever you're going to call it, you want it to be really easily digestible. I do find that you have some people that offer these long, massive email, these massive ebooks. But what you want to make sure is that what someone is asking for, they're going to get the result in that report straight away.
Right. Think about it this way. If somebody just found your business, doesn't know anything about you, which that's kind of your ideal audience. That means you're reaching out to new people. But if somebody doesn't know anything about you, they don't know anything about what you have to offer. And you start off by saying, hey, you should invest the next 12 weeks trying to figure out this system that I've outlined for you in this book and putting in all this effort and all this work. Is somebody going to invest 12 weeks in trying to do something that you teach them if they don't even know if you're worth your salt? So the answer is no, obviously. But if you offer them something like you said, that's a quick win, that's something like, if I want to get started in online business, what are the 3 tools that I need to start growing my email list? That's pretty quick and easy. I get my autoresponder, my landing page tool, my whatever, right? I get those things. And now all of a sudden, wow, I've got everything I need to start growing my email list. And now I go to the person that told me about those tools and go, hey, I got those tools. You helped me get a result quickly. What's the next step? And suddenly it's a really easy transition from I just found you to now I want to work with you.
It is, and it is that easy transition, and it's about building that relationship with them, isn't it, during that process?
Right. And part of building that relationship is getting them a result quickly so that they can say, wow, if the first interaction we had, you got me a really quick result, I can only imagine that's going to continue on.
Yes. And I always say as well, give your very best thing, because it's no point saying, oh my God, no, someone has to pay me to get this information. Give them that best thing up front so that they can use it and get the results straight away. So yeah, perfect. So what would you say is number 2 then? So the first thing is building your list.
Yeah, and I would say the first thing for a long time is building your list. There are obviously a lot of other things that you can do in business, and there are a lot of skills that you can learn. But I really believe that if you focus on that and you focus on that for a while until you've got a list that's rocking, you can really have a nice foundation for growing your business and deciding what the next thing is that you want to focus on. Because once you have a list, if you decide you want to start writing blog content, well, you already have an audience built in that you can send to that blog content. If you want to start podcasting, you already have an audience built in for your podcast. If you want to start a YouTube channel, same thing. If you want to release a product, you've already got an audience ready, right? But with that said, I would say that the next thing then is to get really good at email marketing. That's step 1 would be to grow your list. Step 2 would be able to communicate with that list. And it sounds funny. A lot of people say begin with the end in mind, and I do agree to an extent, but that doesn't mean that you should learn all of the steps, take all the time it takes to learn list building, email marketing, webinars, sales, doing all those things will take you forever. So focus on the first thing so you can get going. But I do think that first you focus on growing your list, then you focus on, well, now what do I do with those people? And what's fun is that we found that one of the most effective ways that you can start out with that audience is, regardless of what you've given them to get them to join your email list, if you give them something that's kind of the next step for them, that's a little bit bigger and it's free and it just happens because they joined your email list, 1, it fosters goodwill, and 2, it shows them that you mean business and you're serious about helping them. So I'm not big on being vague, so let me be really clear about what I mean. So once somebody has joined your email list, let's say they opted in for the comic book guide, right? So we'll keep going with the comic book theme. They opted in for that guide. They get a welcome email that says, thanks so much for joining the list. I hope you enjoy the guide. In the coming days, weeks, months, and years, I'm going to be sending you great free stuff to keep you engaged, show you awesome comic book stuff, just things that comic book fans will appreciate. If you were just looking for the list of comics to check out, you can click the unsubscribe link below, but we hope you'll stick around because we'd love to have you in our community. That's the first email. And then 3 days later, they get another email. And that email says, hey, I wanted to let you know a little bit about the history of comic books in case you haven't, in case you're not too familiar with how it got started. I find that I enjoy things better when I understand where they came from. So I've created a free course for you all about the history of comic books. The first lesson is about where the first comic book came from. Check out lesson number 1 by clicking this link. And they click that link and it takes them to a video lesson page. And that happens every 3 days for 4 emails. And so now what's happened is they've joined your list for a list of tools. And then you've automatically enrolled them in a free course that's about something that they would really care about, that's really important, that provides them a lot of value. And if you're selling something, which if you may not be in the beginning, which is fine, but if you're selling something, now that course can be used to give them these little easy transitions. That's like, here's a little bit more guidance, here's a little bit more information. And at the end, hey, by the way, if you've enjoyed this video, maybe you'll really enjoy the comic books that I write. Check out, my comic book here, click this link. And it's just this nice natural step from opting in to buying. And that obviously there's a lot of other things you can do with email marketing, but those first 4 emails are a really nice, simple way to get started. And we found that's really effective.
Wow. So you're saying then that someone who's completely cold, who just come across your website, they've opted in to get the free report, the comic guide, and then a few days later, 4 to 5 days later, they could actually become a paying customer.
Yeah, I mean, really quickly. In fact, we find that a lot of the time when we do this for LeadPages, a lot of the times we get the sale on that very first email in the follow-up sequence. Because what happens is we've already shown them value. We told them we were going to be giving them more value, and then they got that first email that that taught them how to do something. I think ours was like how to create the perfect lead magnet or whatever our first email is. And it's 3 minutes of just really great content. Here's how to create the lead magnet and how to do it and how to lay it out. And then at the end, it's if you'd like to have the most high converting landing pages, blah, 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 check out LeadPages here. Here's how you can get signed up. And it's just a really, for people that are looking to grow their email list, grow their business, LeadPages is a natural thing. If we show them how powerful it is in 3 minutes by also providing value, then why wouldn't they buy? And so, yeah, you can absolutely have a customer within 3 days really quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been using LeadPages since the beginning of my business, and I literally couldn't cope without LeadPages. And what you've said is absolutely accurate, because in my business, what I've achieved is that someone could find me on Facebook or on Google, and yes, just like what you said, have a free report. And then the second page, the thank you page, is buying that ebook that I've written, $36, $25, whatever it is. And then that is how you can actually get your first paying customer. It doesn't have to take a long time, does it?
Right. It doesn't. No. And that's what I love about it, is that doing effective email marketing makes everybody feel good, right? That's the other thing, is I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of marketers that are like, well, we just got them to join our email list and we're already asking them to buy after a couple of days. Isn't that kind of pushy? But it's not, because the way that you've done it, you have given them a lot of stuff to help them already right off the bat. And you said, look, if you feel like you'd really like to grow your list, or you'd like to do whatever the thing is that you help them do, or that your product does for them, you should check this out. It's a great next step. But don't worry, we're going to be sending you more emails to help you with more stuff, right? It's a nice, easy way to do it. But it works really well.
And you're helping people, and that's what people tend to forget. They think, oh my God, I'm being pushy, I'm being salesy, but you're actually helping them to solve that problem that they need. And
Exactly
they need it because they opted in to your free report, so they're already pre-qualified to buy from you, which is perfect.
Exactly right. Yep.
So what would you say is the next step then, following from the email marketing?
I think it entirely depends on the person. What I think would be more helpful, if somebody is watching this, I think something that would be more helpful would be, I want to give you a couple of other ways that you can grow your email list. Because, learning to grow your list can happen pretty quickly. It doesn't require a lot of time. Getting really good at email marketing takes a little bit longer. And I think once you have those two things mastered, then is the time to learn what to do next. And it's not going to be the same for everybody. And I'm not saying everybody's, journey will be learn email marketing, and then do the next thing. But I do think that this is a great starting point for a lot of folks who don't know where to start. So I want to give you a couple of more tactics for growing your list. I'll give you my favorite. My personal favorite is a tactic called the content upgrade. And it's become, pretty prolific. There's content upgrades talk everywhere. But what a content upgrade is when you write a blog post or publish a podcast episode or publish a YouTube video, there's some extra bonus piece of content, something that adds value to whatever you were talking about in your blog post. But in order for somebody to get that extra thing, they have to opt in. So here's an example. Let's say you were a health coach. If you did a blog post that was all about superfoods and why you like them and how they give you more energy or whatever, well, a lot of people, what they do is they'll just take whatever lead magnet, whatever freebie that they've created, and they put an opt-in form for that same thing at the bottom of every blog post, regardless of what it's about. But as a health coach, you might talk about a lot of things. You might talk about food, you might talk about exercise, you might talk about yoga, you might talk about whatever. That blog post, though, is about superfoods. And the only thing you know for sure about somebody reading a blog post about superfoods is that they're interested in superfoods. It's the only thing you know about them for sure. I mean, yes, you might have lots of automation stuff, but that's really the only thing that you know at that moment. And so offering them, asking them to opt in for a guide about yoga at the bottom of a blog post about superfoods, there's a disconnect.
That's right, yeah.
Because, again, you don't know if they're interested in yoga. So what a content upgrade does is it allows you to offer something that's specific to what you know they're interested in. So if I wrote a blog post about superfoods, I would at the bottom say, if you'd like to get 5 recipes that include the superfoods mentioned in this blog post, enter your email address.
Perfect.
And now it ties in the topic of the blog post with the topic of the thing that you're giving away. And I had a really interesting example of this. I'm a relatively new homeowner. Just a little over a year ago, we bought our first home. And of course, now I want to know how to do DIY everything. How do I do this? How do I build this? Which at the end of the day, I don't know how to build anything. So I was reading a blog post about how to build a wooden picnic table, right? How to build this beautiful wooden picnic table. Sounds great. Not an area that a lot of people think would have smart marketing, right? Just build a picnic table, whatever. It's DIY. But at the bottom of the blog post, you could opt in to download a PDF checklist of all the materials you would need to build the picnic table. That way you could print it out, take it with you to the store, and you wouldn't forget any of the stuff you needed to build that picnic table. It's brilliant. It's something that so many people go, oh, well, it says right in the blog post what you would need to build that picnic table. But sure, it does. Why not make it simple? Hey, download the printable checklist. Just enter your email address and we'll send it off to you. It's a super easy way to quickly grow your email list. I'll give you another way that is pretty simple, is to focus on mobile, right? Oftentimes when people are kind of relatively new to marketing, they think about marketing as being a series of landing pages and sales pages, websites and blogs and things. But you have to remember that today's marketplace is very mobile. We're all over the place. And we often try to think in terms of, if I want somebody to join my list, I'm going to make a landing page for them. But think about the person that's walking down a busy city street. Asking them to go to yourwebsiteaddress.com/free book and go there, find the opt-in form, click on the opt-in form, enter their information all on their phone while they're walking down a busy street. You're asking a lot of somebody. Now, yes, people are technologically savvy. Yes, it's not that hard. And most of the time we're surfing the internet anyway. But if you want to make it the easiest experience, which translates into more people joining your list, why not say, hey, if you want to get the free guide, text, I don't know, health guide to the phone number, whatever, 33444, or to this phone number. Now what you've done is you've said you're already walking around texting. That's what everybody's doing. If you walk down the street, everybody's like this. So if you want to make it an easy experience, you've said, hey, you're already sending a text message. I want to get you this free guide. So just send another text to this place and we'll hook you up. And you can do that on billboards, banners. You can do it on stage if you're a professional speaker or you do any kind of public speaking. You can invite people to download your slides. You can do it on your podcast, on your YouTube videos. And it allows you to grow your list in a way that many people have forgotten. So there's a couple of tasks.
And is that just having a number for them to then dial to the text, and then they will then get the report or the guide, whatever that you're delivering to them?
It's a LeadPages feature. It's called Lead Digits.
Wow. Yeah.
And what it does is, for example, somebody could text. So we do this on our podcast. They could text LeadPages Live to the phone number 33444, and they'll get a text back that says, great, you're almost registered for the webinar. What email should we send your login details to? They reply with their email address via text message, and then they get an email automatically from GoToWebinar that says, here's your details for your webinar, and they get an email automatically from Infusionsoft, which is our email marketing tool, that says, hey, congratulations, you're all set for the webinar. Here's a couple things to keep in mind. And it all happens via text message. It's super easy. That's a LeadPages feature called Lead Digits.
And that is perfect, especially for speakers. That's perfect because, as you said, not everyone's going to be wanting to put their name and their email, and that's perfect. So you mentioned Infusionsoft. So are you saying that in order to connect the LeadPages, you'd need to be working with an email marketing system?
Yeah, so you need to have some kind of an email marketing system. It does not have to be Infusionsoft. That's just what we use. But LeadPages integrates with just about everybody. So Aweber, MailChimp, Infusionsoft, Entreport, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, Drip. I mean, really just about everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you do need to have some kind of email marketing tool. For people that are just getting started, they'll often ask me like, what tools do I need to market my business? Do I need a lot of things? What's interesting is when you're getting started, you don't need much.
You don't.
You really, I tell people, if you're going to be doing webinars, you need 3 tools. If you're not going to do webinars, you need 2 tools. So if you're going to be doing webinars, you need some kind of a webinar tool. Webinar Ninja is my personal favorite, but any webinar tool will work just fine. You need an email marketing tool. We have one called Drip. We actually own it. It's a great automation tool. It's a nice bridge between just getting started and really having some sophisticated automation. And then you need a landing page tool, and LeadPages is the one obviously we recommend. That's really all you need.
It is all you need, because I remember I've got right now several clients that don't have websites, but they do have lead pages, because as you said, building your email list is the first thing that you need to do. And one of my clients literally didn't have a website. She didn't have a service, didn't have a product. And basically she was collecting names and emails. And then what she done, she said she had another lead page where she was hosting her live webinar, and she literally did her webinar. She made $3,000 on that webinar, and she didn't have a website and didn't even have a product yet. So that is absolutely perfect. You don't need to spend lots and lots of money on different tools. As you said, as long as you've got LeadPages, which is the landing page software, then your email marketing system, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's really all you need.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get started. You know, and people will say, well, you know, you also need this thing for this other thing, this thing for that other thing. And yes, there are other tools that you can use, but I always say that simplicity is really key. That's not to say that you should try to find one tool that does everything, because I'm a firm believer in using specialized tools. But really, the things you need to get started are a landing page tool and an email marketing tool. That's what you really need to get started.
Brilliant. So how can we get started with LeadPages? Do you have a webinar that we can watch, or how can our viewers get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a live webinar every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
I personally host it myself. We're going to teach you 3 tactics that you can use to quickly grow your email list. And they're the exact 3 tactics that we have used to go from 0 to over 200,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And so to register, all you need to do is go to leadpageswebinar.com. So leadpageswebinar.com, and you can register there.
Brilliant. I'll put all the links below as well.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for that, Tim. That was really, really helpful. Thank you so much for that. I've got one last question for you now, and that question is, are you ready to roll?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Brilliant. So share with us then, what is your favorite book, Tim?
Yeah, you know, I think that my favorite book is probably a comic book, but outside of that, in the business world, I think the book that has changed my marketing life more than anything is probably a book called The Boron Letters by Gary Halbert.
Okay.
Gary Halbert is one of the most successful copywriters of all time, and he went to prison for some weird stuff. And while he was in prison, he wrote these letters to his son, Bond Halbert, basically teaching him all of this stuff about copywriting and marketing and direct response marketing. And his son published it in a book called The Boron Letters, and it is just a fantastic, fantastic book. Great way to get a crash course in effective copywriting and direct response marketing. And that's really helped me a lot. It was the first marketing book I ever read.
Wow, okay, I'll look that up. I've not heard of that. I'll look that up definitely. So what would you say is the one thing that you need as an entrepreneur that you couldn't do without?
The one thing that you need as an entrepreneur is probably thick skin, because being an entrepreneur is all about getting shut down. It's all about denial. It's all about being told no. It's all about failed marketing campaigns, failed products, failed lots of stuff. That's just part of business. And if you can get past that, then you'll most likely get to the success. There's just no guarantees in entrepreneurship, and that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it exciting. That's what makes winning even better. But you have to have thick skin. If getting told no, if getting shut down, if failing is something that's going to wreck your life, you should probably not be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. So what is the one thing that you hold to be true that most people disagree with?
I'm not sure that I have something. I guess the thing that I hold to be true that a lot of people maybe disagree with is that your own, like being your own person in your marketing efforts trumps any kind of traditional marketing tactics that you can ever learn. I'm a big believer in traditional marketing tactics. I'm a big believer in a lot of the stuff that works, but without infusing your own personality, and I'm not even going to say brand, but just your own personality into the way you do marketing, all of those other things are just going to seem stale.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Tim, for joining us on High End Rollers TV. And we'll definitely watch the put the link below to the webinar, and
Awesome.
also to LeadPages as well. So thank you so much for watching this episode, and be sure to give us the thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.